What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Machiavelli, and I'm back with another reaction video. You guys, this is exciting, man. I never thought a video like this even existed on YouTube because I didn't think I would find it. Because a lot of the times, Sadhguru does videos in his own, I guess like, yeah, I don't know if he has some sort of personal photographer or filmmaker or whatever, but I notice wherever he goes around the world, it's usually his own camera person or whatever. But in this case, we got him on an interview, not in another country either. This is the Hot 97. Sadhguru drops gems on happiness and shares some guru talk. Global movement to save soil. So without further ado, man, let's get it.
From New York to the world, subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
It's Ebro, Laura Rosenberg. Give it up, our very special guest today, Sadhguru, is with us today.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing it right? Is it Sadhguru?
Sadhguru.
Sadhguru. And Sadhguru, is that a title or your name?
So Sadhguru is a kind of a description, because if you want to learn some scripture or religion or something, you don't come to him. Only if you want to know the life that you are, you go to a Sadhguru, because the word Sad means from within. A guru who comes from within, who has no tradition, who has no scripture, who has no…
And how did you become this? How can you, and I guess, we're talking decades that this took place, but what was the initial calling, and how did the path become illuminated for you?
That was good. I didn't know where you were going, but you got there.
That was
it.
So, I grew up, this is a long story, I'll try to make it
Go
short.
ahead, take your time.
So I kind of realized at the age of when I was 4 or 5 years of age that I actually don't know nothing. Nothing means nothing. If somebody gives me a glass of water, I would be staring at this water for hours, because I didn't know what water is. I knew how to use it. I know I can drink it, I can use it in many ways, but you do not know what it is. Even today, you do not know what it is actually. With all the scientific exploration, you do not know a single atom in its entirety. This is a fact. So if I find a leaf, I'm just staring at it for 4 or 5 hours at a stretch. If I sit up in my bed, I'm just staring at the darkness for the whole night. My father, being a physician, started thinking, I need psychiatric evaluation, because this boy is staring at something all the time, it looks like he's lost it. My problem was, I'm looking at this and I don't know what this is, I'm not able to shift my attention to anything. So, I went through this for some time, and then they put me in school, and my mother said, don't look here and there, just pay attention to the teacher. So I went and paid attention to the teacher. The kind
They
of…
were like, why is this kid staring at me?
Staring right at the teacher.
kind of attention they would have never received in their life. I would know their past, present and future, but I wouldn't be hearing what they're saying. After some time, like initially I understood what they were talking about. Then I realized they're only making sounds. I'm the one who's making up meanings. See, if I start speaking in an Indian language right now, as far as you're concerned, it will be just sounds, all right?
Right.
So even now, language is a conspiracy between the two of us. I utter a sound and you make up the meaning. When I realized it's me who is making up the meanings, I stopped making meanings, I just watched the teachers very intensely. And hour after hour, teachers come and start making noises and noises and noises. It became very amusing and a big smile spread on my face, but they were not amused at all. So my schooling went like this, and I grew up to be a super skeptic, because I had a billion questions and I tried to shoot it wherever I got an opportunity. All I found was always they were referring to somebody who was dead. So they gave me an impression everybody who's wise was dead long time ago. Nobody was alive, or it's written in this book and that book and whatever. So I did not find single answer to my basic existential questions, which I had a billion questions around me like a black cloud. So when then I got into, like I started traveling by myself, I cycled around South India, and then I graduated to a motorcycle, then I crisscrossed India. Then I found that the borders were stopping me. So I thought I'll make some money and just ride around because I had not figured out a thing. So I got into business to make some money, and businesses became successful, far more successful than most people would imagine in a short span of time. About 5 years I started nearly half a dozen businesses and all of them were thriving. Then one afternoon, I went and sat on a small hill in the city called Mysore. I don't know if you're familiar with the town in southern India. I sat there and for the first time, I did not know which is me and which is not me. What was me was just all over the place. And I thought I sat there for about 10–15 minutes, but actually I was sitting there for over 4.5 hours. My eyes were open. For the first time in my adult life, tears and me were impossible. But here I am, tears were like, my shirt was all damp. So when I shook myself out of it, kind of, all I could see was every cell in my body was just blissed out completely. And I thought maybe I'm going off my rocker, and I tried to check with my closest friends, say something like, this is happening. The only thing that they could ask me, hey, come on, what did you drink, what did you pop? This is the kind of questions. But I had realized that I've hit a gold mine, that if I just sit here without messing with my mind, every cell in my body oozes ecstasy. So I sat down and made a plan after about 6–7 weeks of experimenting with this, and I knew every…
I'm gonna let you guys know ahead of time. I'm probably gonna do like a part two. So I'm probably gonna stop this video at exactly about 20 minutes flat and then do like a part two of the other 21 minutes. So yeah, I might have to do that because I gotta cut my reaction video a little bit short today.
every time I sat like that, inevitably it happened. Then I thought, this is it. I've discovered something, I'm going to make the whole world ecstatic. So I made a plan. I was 25. I made a plan. At that time, the population was 5.6 billion people. And I made a plan that in 2.5 years' time, I will make the whole world ecstatic. Here I am after 40 years.
Still a process.
So it took me some time to understand that people are so deeply invested in their miseries. Even if you give them the best thing, they
Yep.
will go through their own process.
Yep.
Today, people are saying that we are touching over 2 billion people in the world, but still that's not my idea of the world. My idea of the world today is nearly 8 billion people. So I am destined to die a failure, but a blissful failure. This is where I am.
Well, it also, and I want to use that as a transition into one of the reasons you're doing media right now that you're here, which is talking about the soil on the planet and the fact that the soil we're losing it, and the planet is ultimately very sick. And I think you've kind of committed to, like you said, making humans ecstatic, right? Like bringing joy to people and helping them find happiness.
See, the important thing about that is being blissful or joyful is not a goal by itself. It's an ambience. If you're joyful, you will do only what's needed, nothing more, nothing less. But right now, human beings are in pursuit of their happiness. In pursuit of their happiness, they've ripped the whole planet apart and still they are not happy because you are like an old potato farmer who went to a mango tree, and because of your old habit, you started digging into the earth looking for mangoes. The tree may fall on you, but you will not find mangoes. You need to look up for mangoes. This is the case of an old potato farmer. We found something useful outside. Now we think we'll find peace, joy and happiness outside. No, human experience only happens from within, isn't it? Whether it's misery or joy, only happens from within you. Instead of turning inward, we are turning the world upside down.
So, how…
So you want to know where to invest $1,000 right now? Well, forget about stocks, real estate, or cryptocurrency. There is a little known trend.
What's so crazy is that I noticed that as they're interviewing him, they're taking their time as far as asking him a question. Not because he's old, but I feel like it's because you gotta ask him something and don't let it be like a stupid question. Like I feel like if I were to ask him something, if I was like an interviewer, yeah, I gotta have all my notes. I gotta have everything together to know what I'm gonna ask. I cannot sit up here and stumble, mumble. I can't, you know, you gotta have the right questions and don't let it be something that's common sense that even a 10-year-old is able to figure out.
How did you discover? I mean, we know you had this moment that obviously changed you when you were 25 years old. How do you help other people find that? I mean, as you put it, is it simply, to me on the surface, it sounds like it must be more complex than simply just sitting at peace. And I've heard you speak about staring at one thing, really choosing that one thing, whether it's a loved one or whatever it may be. But what is sort of the primary way that you think people can start finding simple happiness?
See, one important thing is you shouldn't be a potato farmer plucking mangoes from the ground. It doesn't work like that. So if you're looking for any inner experience, it has to happen from within. If only your thought and emotion happen just the way you want it. Your body, if it happened the way you want it, you would be naturally healthy. If your mind, if your thought process happened the way you want it, you would be naturally happy and joyful. If your emotions happen the way you want it, you would naturally be loving and blissful by your own nature. So right now the problem is we have not taken charge of our faculties and we are trying to take charge of the world and it's a disaster. Everything we are doing is a disaster, whether we realize that or not. Future generations will judge us that what we have done is a super disaster. All in pursuit of happiness and well-being, isn't it?
And we're all pursuing it outside
Yes.
instead of pursuing it
I mean,
inside.
that's the only place it can happen, isn't it? Human experience happens within, but we are trying to create it from outside. No matter what you do, outside situations will never ever be 100% your way or my way. It never will happen. We can have it to some extent our way, that's about it. Comfort and convenience can come by fixing the outside. Well-being and joy will not come from outside, it can only come from within. So, we have created an education system, we have created a social structure where we have been taught by ripping the outside, inside will be fixed. And endlessly we're going on. We have, as a generation of people, we have more comfort and more convenience than any generation ever in the history of humanity. But we cannot say we are the most joyful generation. We cannot even say we are the most peaceful generation.
Do you think that, I'm sorry, Laura, do you think that the emergence of social media, where do you think this fits into people seeking outside sort of
No,
joy?
seeking outside is not because of social media. See, the problem is this. Right now, for the intelligence and competence that a human being has, it's extremely important that we function consciously. But we are still functioning instinctively like any other creature. Say, a grasshopper is functioning instinctively, even a tiger is functioning instinctively, there's no danger to the world because of his instincts. But a human being, if he functions compulsively and instinctively, there is a super danger simply because of our intelligence and competence. So what does this mean? It means our intelligence, which is the greatest thing we have, unfortunately has turned against us. Our competence has turned against us simply because this intelligence, this competence needs a conscious expression. But right now it is finding a compulsive expression, unconscious and compulsive expression. This, if it doesn't change, if we don't create conscious human beings, people that if you sit here, you're blissed out by your own nature. If that doesn't happen, all the time you're ripping the planet thinking something will come out of it. Well, we need things to be comfortable, that is fine. The planet has enough for everybody's comfort, but it doesn't have enough to create even one person's happiness, because it just cannot happen that way.
Right. When Rosenberg brought up social media, and when I was looking you up, I saw that you have millions of followers. At what point in your life did you see a massive amount of numbers in people following you and seeking, your knowledge?
See, as a rule, first 20, 21 years, as a rule, we did not print a single brochure, we did not put a single poster, we did not advertise in any way. People came only by word of mouth, millions of people came. So it all ran almost like a secret school, nothing secret about it.
Right.
But because we did not advertise, people thought, oh, what is happening, kind of thing. But this was probably in 2006. I was in United States, our center in Tennessee, and people were looking at various things, and somebody who was supposed to be some kind of an internet expert, whatever, I asked him, what is everybody browsing for? I never get any time to look at the screen. I'm busy with things around me. He said, Sadhguru, about 70% of the data is pornography. I said, what? That can't be true, 70%. He said, yes, Sadhguru. And I asked one more guy, he says, yeah, it's somewhere around that. Then I thought, and then they told me, and in that year, some million and odd children below 15 years of age were sold on the internet. See, when we sell our children, we've hit the bottom, there's no further to go, all right? When we sell our own children, we really hit the bottom.
Yeah.
I said, such a great technology that you could reach the whole world. And here we are watching pornography or doing some sick things, selling our children and stuff like this. See, many great beings have come in the world, but when they came, if they spoke, hardly 10 people could hear them, all right? In their times, hardly 10 people, 20 people could hear them. Today, here we are, we can sit here and speak to the entire world. When we have such a magic in our hands, which we call as technology, it's really magic. If you were 100 years ago, this would be magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when we have this, if we do not transform humanity, if we do not solve our problems by communicating the right things, it shows that we simply don't care. So that day I decided, okay, we are going online. So they're telling me in 2021, our video reach has been 2.2 billion people. So probably never before spiritually oriented talks have reached this kind of volume. This is not to aggrandize ourselves, this is to show that human beings are desperately looking for solutions. They're really looking for solutions. But all diversionary tactics are happening all over the place. So I took this upon myself, though I'm… people will be will have a hard time digesting this. I'm an extremely, I'm a very personal kind of person. I'm not a public person, but I'm always in the public these days. Otherwise, I wouldn't be seen at all. That's how I am. So even now, when I'm not doing any work, nobody sees where I am, I'm just by myself. That's my nature, but today I'm out because I feel in this generation, if we don't turn this around, we will be sorry. We will be seriously sorry because our capabilities have reached a point one man can do what 10,000 men could not do 1,000 years ago or even 100 years ago. When we have this kind of capability, if we don't turn human consciousness around to a more inclusive way of existence, more internalized way, that means your well-being is happening from within. Outside you do naturally what is… See, when you're happy, what do? Whatever is needed, isn't it? But right now we are not doing what is needed, we are doing something to fulfill ourselves. You will never be fulfilled, even if you conquer the whole planet, you will not be fulfilled. If I make…
In other words, it is impossible to make any human being on this earth satisfied. We just are never satisfied. Ever. I don't care if you guys have goals to have $1 billion in the next 10, 15 years or 20 years, whatever. You still wouldn't be happy. Because you can have all that and still be… It's people that's millionaires and still unhappy. And they got their work cut out for them. They don't work a 9 to 5. Their life is not as complicated as ours. They don't have to deal with the things that we have to deal with as regular people. But then again, it's kind of like more money, more problems. So in a way, I guess they do have more problem things that we don't go. But still, I don't know. But that doesn't distinguish the fact that, we're just never satisfied, bro. I'm still gonna stick to that though.
make you the king of this planet, will you settle or will you ask for the moon and the other…
I'd probably ask for your beard, because I mean,
See what I'm saying? And look,
beard's crazy.
his beard is fine. His beard is better than mine. Now you see what I'm saying? It's a domino effect. Nobody is ever satisfied. I want my beard to at least be like that at the minimum, right? And he wants his beard to be like Sadhguru's too. Everybody is that wants to climb that ladder to go up there to try to, yeah.
I can tell you how to grow your own.
But it starts from within.
That's right. Don't seek
The beard
outside.
starts from within.
That's right.
100%. The skeptics of whom you are. I'm sure you don't spend a lot of energy on that, but there are skeptics of anyone that has the amount of followers that you have, the fact that you live the lifestyle that you have, the fact that you speak the way you speak, things in your past. What do you say when asked about the skeptics of who you are? Like, how do you even address that?
See, all these issues have been addressed 1,000 times over. These are not skeptics, these are hate gangs who will anyway go at you no matter what, okay, without any substance. So these are all slander without substance. So this has been going on forever, it's been answered 1,000 times, but they know this, that if they repeat it 100 times, at least 10% of the people will believe it. That is their space, they want to live in that dirty space, it's their choice. But I have seen many people, one thing is, every day they're watching my quotes, the so-called, you know, the hate gangs are watching my this thing. The extreme…
They hate love you.
the extreme left and extreme right, both of them hitting me all the time. You must see last 5 days, because there was we have an annual festival called for the yogi, the first yogi that was that came in celebration of him, a full night festival from evening 6 to morning 6, 12 hours, watched by over 140 to 145 million people across the world. Now, in that, one Sufi singer came and he sang many songs. In that he sang one song, Ali Ali something. We all danced to that. So the extreme right-wing Hindu people hitting me for last 5 days endlessly, they want to excommunicate me and whatever. So extreme Christian groups, extreme Islamic groups, extreme communist groups, all of them are at me. If all of them are at you, you are doing the right thing, obviously.
Because they're extreme. Because is that why, or because they deal in negativity usually?
See, they can only thrive if they say something ugly about somebody, otherwise who'll listen to them? It's only by saying something obscene about you, somebody will sit up and say, oh, what are they saying? If they have to speak something sensible, there is no stuff out there.
Right.
So how do when you've spoken about the things you've done and accomplished and worked on, you say we. Who is the we? Who is your team, and how do you guys go about moving around the world? Because you say you don't do it for money. So how does
That's what I was about to say. How does that even work? How does he do that?
how do you support yourself, the travel, all of those?
Yeah.
See, the Isha Foundation as an organization has about 5,600 full-time volunteers, full-time, highly qualified people, most of them, and over 16 million part-time volunteers. So these 16 million volunteers support those 5,600 full-time volunteers at various levels, and they support the foundation. And that's how everything happens. And we are all 7 days of the week, 20 hours of the day, 365 days we are on.
Wow.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna stop it right there, you guys. I'm not gonna say if you guys like this video, because so far, I mean, yeah, that's why I haven't really said much during this video or had much of commentary, because everything he's saying is right, bro. He's not lying. I'm gonna give it a like right now, though. But yeah, man, part 2 on the way. The only reason why you guys I can't react to like the full thing right now is because I have something to do. But I will get this out to you guys very soon. Yeah, man. But damn, I can't even really tell you guys to like, comment, share. That's kind of messing up my whole outro, bro. But yeah, anyway, man, I love you guys, man. You guys have a blessed one, safe one. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.